Xin chào mừng quý vị và các bạn đến với chương trình Đồng tiền thông minh trên kênh truyền hình FBNC. Và trong chương trình Đồng tiền thông minh ngày hôm nay thì chúng ta sẽ nói về cơ hội đầu tư vào mô hình chuỗi siêu thị tại Hoa Kỳ. Mời quý vị cùng gặp gỡ với vị khách mời ngày hôm nay, đó là ông Jason Brown, là Phó Chủ tịch đồng sáng lập, phụ trách phát triển kinh doanh của chuỗi siêu thị Lucky's Market. Lucky's Market là chuỗi siêu thị mô hình kết hợp giữa mô hình chuỗi siêu thị thực phẩm hữu cơ và mô hình siêu thị truyền thống. Hiện đã có khoảng 11 siêu thị tại Hoa Kỳ và các thành viên sáng lập của chuỗi Lucky's Market đều đã có nhiều năm kinh nghiệm và đã xây dựng và vận hành hơn 100 siêu thị trên toàn nước Mỹ. Và ngày hôm nay, ông Jason Brown sẽ chia sẻ với chúng ta cơ hội để trở thành nhà đầu tư và có thể sinh lợi từ chuỗi siêu thị này tại nước Mỹ. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming.
Appreciate it.
First of all, let's talk about Lucky's Market.
Yep.
Could you kind of tell us a little bit more about the history and kind of what Lucky's Market is all about for the viewers?
Sure. Well, Lucky's Market is a combination grocery store. So we're a supermarket that carries organic and natural foods, but also carries the best brands that are conventional foods.
And why do you raise capital from foreign investors around the world?
So we're a team of people that are building this supermarket chain, and we've been doing this for about 20 years. And part of our capital stack is debt and equity from overseas investors.
Have you had any investor coming from Vietnam?
We have. We've had many investors that have invested from Vietnam and many other places in Asia and Europe as well.
Tell us more about the process of investing in this supermarkets model and how does that work for an investor?
Well, Lucky's Market is a supermarket that's in business that is fully financed today by the founding team.
Okay.
So the business is in development and it's growing. And what we're doing is we're going overseas and finding investors who want to invest in a growing concern. We have two different ways that investments can be done.
Okay.
One is a debt vehicle where an investor makes an investment and gets a high yield return on their investment. They also get a profit sharing if and when the company is ever sold as part of their return on investment. The second way is that we give a smaller return on investment in cash, but we support the investor to create jobs.
Okay.
And Lucky's Market subscribes to that investment philosophy and works with people all around the world.
And if an investors want to, let's say, put their money in this investment for the supermarket, what's usually their biggest concern? I mean, what is the returns opportunity for them?
Well, I think it's like any other investment. You need to know who you're investing in. And the biggest concern that I would have if I was an overseas investor is making sure that the company you're investing in has the financial wherewithal to meet its obligations and its repayment obligations to you in the future.
But for this supermarkets model, Lucky's Market, that you have 11 stores so far in the United States, what are the main factors that contributing to the success of the chain so far?
So people is what creates success. Supermarkets in the United States are high service, high product availability businesses. People who go to the grocery store expect to be treated with a smile. They expect to find the things that they're looking for, and that takes a tremendous amount of proper management. So at Lucky's Market, we hire great people, and the team has built over 150 supermarkets in the past 20 years. So the founding team has a great depth of understanding of what kinds of people we need to hire and the right kinds of people to hire.
So what is the biggest cost for this model and how do you manage this effectively?
The two largest costs associated with building a supermarket are the cost of goods, so the products that we actually sell, and then second is labor.
Labor. For an investor's perspective, I mean, if I'm an investor, I want to know how is the supermarkets business right now in the United States, and how do you make sure this is a good investment?
Well, food is a commodity. People are always going to eat. They're always going to shop in supermarkets. And in the US, there are some very, very large conglomerate, 100 billion size groups that sell foods through supermarkets.
Yep.
And then there are specialty chains like Lucky's Market or Whole Foods that gear themselves to a specific type of a customer base. So Lucky's is focused on an educated customer who is looking for better food at great value prices. We open our stores in university towns and in areas that are underserved with organic and natural foods. And then we build a store that's fun to shop. And we employ the right kinds of people to make it possible for the store to be an exciting, pleasant event. And price is what we're extremely good at. Over the last 20 years, we've built strategies associated with buying right, working the product, and making sure that it's displayed properly so that the customer gets the most value that they can when they're purchasing from us.
What is the risk of this supermarkets model?
As far as an investment?
Yep.
Well, the risk from the investors who invest with us is quite minimal. But there's always risk. And actually, by edict or law, the risks are that Lucky's could have a catastrophe or some terrible experience that is unforeseen. Poor management or the inability to deliver on what we say that we will. We've done everything we can to hedge those bets. We have the right people in place. We have the right financing in place. We keep over 25% in actual equity in our company, even though there's demand that we could take less if we wanted. So we blend both debt and equity into the business.
What seems to be the biggest challenge for you right now in terms of financing a supermarket model?
Honestly, we don't have a big challenge. We're here in Vietnam, meeting with investors, talking with them to make sure that they're the right investor for our company and that we're the right company for their investment. And we invest one person at a time. To invest in Lucky's Market, there are certain hurdles that you have to meet as an investor. And so being an accredited investor is something that we work to make sure that the person who's making the investment is. And then we do all the things necessary to help to support them.
Now, investing in an overseas project, like a supermarket in America, or other projects around the world, for a foreign investor, like Vietnamese investor, they have a lot of risk, and they lost their money. They invest in a wrong project into a wrong people.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you minimize the risk, and how do you make sure that this is a good opportunity for them?
What we do is we give all of the information up front. And we provide clear audited financial statements about our company. We provide deep, clear legal agreements to make it sure that everyone understands what it is that we will do and what's expected. But most importantly, we're a real company. We're not a company that might grow up one day once it gets its investment. We're already open. We'll do over 200 million US dollars this year in sales. And our company is growing to, we'll have over 14 to 15 supermarkets open by the end of this year. And so when people invest in Lucky's, they're investing a going concern, a business that they know is up and running. Our stores, on average, are doing over $315,000 per week in revenue. So that's each store. And when people invest in, what's really important for them is the number of jobs. This is a Jobs Act in America. We must hire 10 individuals for every $500,000 which is invested.
Okay.
And in our stores, it's set up where we allow 6 investors or $3 million. And therefore, in that store, we must have over 60 full-time equivalent jobs.
Okay.
The average today in a Lucky supermarket is 91 full-time equivalent jobs. So we have over 33% more than what is required. And so what I tell investors is that there's lots of great companies out there that you can look at. Some of them aren't true. Some of them are true. Some of them are great ideas.
Yeah.
But we're a company. You're investing in something that's up and running.
How much money do you need from foreign investors?
Well, we're willing to take up to $30 million US for phase 2, which is a financing that we are doing right now. But again, a little bit different. We've already invested that $30 million so that we can build all of the stores.
Okay.
So the founders have put the money into a loan and makes it possible for us to build the stores.
And now you get the money to pay it
As the
back.
money comes in, we pay it back to the founders.
But for an individual investor, I mean, what kind of money that do you see the number?
Each individual investor must make a $500,000 or more investment.
If I am an investor, I would be concerned about the management capability of the founders and the management boards of this market. So you told me that the founders had experience building over 100 stores in the United States. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? We want to make sure that we are running by, the good person.
Well, thank you. And it's really important to do that.
Yeah.
If someone's making an investment in Hanoi and you live in Ho Chi Minh, you should know that the person in Hanoi is going to do what they say they're going to do. The same as if you're going to make an investment in the United States. Our chairman, his name is Patrick Gilliland, has been around in this industry for almost 20 years. Our CEO, Bo Sharon, founded Lucky's Market. All of the people that have been put in the senior management team have deep experience associated with building retail stores, taking good care of customers, and being financially responsible. We have those positions in place. We have a great chief financial officer, a president who has 36 years of grocery store experience. And Patrick actually loves building the stores, finding the location. It's a passion of his.
How do you provide a enjoyable and wonderful experience, a shopping experience for the consumers?
Well, going into a supermarket for some people is a laborious, unfun task.
That's right.
No one wants to do it.
I can imagine.
But if you walk into a supermarket and it's properly lit, and the food is easy to get at, and the prices scream good value, and when you walk by a person who's working there and they smile and they say, "Can I help you?" Those are the things that build relationship. We also make beautiful food. When you walk up to our meat department or our seafood department or our prepared
so the look
foods,
is important too.
It's beautiful. It's something that jumps out at you that you want to take home to feed your family.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I understand that you already met with some Vietnamese investors so far about this project. How was the reaction?
Well, we've been coming to Vietnam now for over 2 years and meeting with different investors and helping them to invest inside of Lucky's. So we work specifically with a woman by the name of Gam Ha from Orient and Pacific. And we work together to educate all about the U.S., educate about what the business opportunity is, and then we work together with Gam and her team to make it possible for people to invest.
What seemed to be the biggest concern that you heard from them?
It's always the same concern, and that's that people don't want to be taken advantage of. People want their money back, and they want to know that if they make this investment, that they are protecting their family.
So how do you, let's say, try to make it a little bit simple for the process? So they invest the money in, and you guys take the money and you guys run the supermarket and they just wait for their return? That's it, they don't have to do anything?
Correct. It's a very simple process. We provide the information necessary so that they understand through a private placement memorandum what will happen if they make the $500,000 investment. They make the $500,000 investment plus a $50,000 administration fee, and then we help them to hire an attorney to work with them and Orient and Pacific so that they can make their transition easy.
And so what is the future plan of expansion for the market?
So our expansion plans are moving rapidly. When we first built Lucky's Market, we thought that it would take about 18 to 24 months for a store to show EBITDA profits. And now it's actually happening at about 12 months. So we're accelerating our growth. And we will have over 40 stores by the end of 2018. And our revenue should be close to 600 million US.
You came back to meet Vietnam many, many times.
Yes.
What do you think about the prospect of, let's say, the possibility of a supermarket like Lucky's Market in Vietnam?
I think in specific cities that a supermarket like Lucky's would do extremely well in Vietnam. There are beautiful foods made throughout the country of Vietnam that are organic and natural. There are superior seafoods that are being caught offshore. And it's possible to use those to combine and create a Lucky's Market here. The density of the population in Ho Chi Minh, Hanoi, Da Nang would make it possible to have a supermarket like that.
Yep. But of course, organic food is, I mean, the price of organic food is always higher than the normal food. So do you think that model would work in the developing countries when the income of the people is not that high?
Organic food used to be substantially higher.
Yeah.
But like everything in life, when volume comes to play, the price drops.
Yep.
The calculator used to be really expensive, and now people give them away. I don't know how many people own iPhones in the country of Vietnam, but that is not an inexpensive phone. It's a very expensive phone that someone chooses to buy.
Yep.
So if people can afford the brands associated with a better brand, my guess is they can also afford a little bit better food for their family.
For a model like a supermarket and raising capital from foreign investors around the world, for me, it's quite unique, right? I never heard of that before.
It is somewhat unique. Most programs are real estate.
That's what I heard.
And they're alternative real estate. So it's generally projects that have difficulty getting financed in the United States. No, we're fully financed as a company. So our founders, before we started phase 2, put up $10 million in equity, and they put it up through an investment vehicle. And then they went ahead and put up a $30 million debt vehicle so that the company could build the 10 stores. We're fully financed, which is, I think, unique. I don't know that there are other companies.
What is your outlook for growth in the next, let's say, 2 to 3 years for Lucky's Market?
So Lucky's Market will continue to grow and develop in the United States to roughly about 600 million by the end of 2018, approximately 40 to 44 locations. And in foreign investment, we are working together with our agents, specifically companies like Orient and Pacific, who exclusively has us here in Vietnam. And what we do is we put on seminars or meet with people face to face, and we do everything we can to explain to them the opportunity of doing investment with us.
So that's the way to approach the potential investors.
Yes.
Organizing seminars and do meetings and events like this.
Correct. And then Gam Ha has a deep relationship in the community, born and raised in Vietnam, and has the relationship with many people to introduce them to who we are and what we do.
If an investor has already had some experience in retail or supermarket, I mean, would that help at all for the investment process?
I think if someone has experience, it helps in two ways. One, they will be more comfortable understanding what it is that we do. And number two, if you have a great import company that imports foods or seafood, or you have a manufacturing company, watching somebody that you have an investment in like Lucky's Market will help you to be better prepared for other business opportunities.
Yeah, I don't mean to compare, but I mean, if looking at a project in real estate and a project in a supermarket, I mean, between the two investments, I mean, do you think supermarket is safer?
I think when you look at a real estate project or you look at a grocery store for
what
EB-5,
can you tell the investor?
You need to look at the company. Real estate generally is a good, solid, safe investment. But you have to look at how safe is the financing that they've done. Do the people have money in the project? How much money do they have in the project? Personally, my own investment strategy is I like to invest where people have more to lose than I do.
Okay.
So
because
Lucky's
they would
team,
take responsible for that too.
absolutely. The general partner doesn't want to lose his 25 to 50
So he must do a
million
good job
dollars.
on that too.
Correct.
Yeah.
So he's part of the investment team, and not in a small sense. It's not like he put in 10%. You know, he started by putting in 100% of all the capital required for the expansion, and then still leaves 25% in. So I always tell people, look at the company. Buying dirt means nothing. It's how is that dirt financed, and what will happen over time. We're already open. We're already open. Generally, in real estate projects, you need to have a number of the investors put in the money before the project itself can start.
Well, thank you so much for sharing.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thưa quý vị, vừa rồi là những chia sẻ của ông Jason Brown, là Phó Chủ tịch đồng sáng lập và phụ trách mảng phát triển kinh doanh của Lucky's Market, chuỗi siêu thị thực phẩm hữu cơ kết hợp với mô hình truyền thống tại Hoa Kỳ và cơ hội dành cho các nhà đầu tư Việt Nam. Và theo ông thì các nhà đầu tư cần cẩn trọng cũng như là chọn lựa sáng suốt khi mà quyết định đầu tư, tìm hiểu xem công ty được vận hành bởi những người chủ như thế nào và có những kinh nghiệm ra sao, và cơ hội đầu tư vào một mô hình chuỗi siêu thị với tiềm năng tăng trưởng cực lớn như Lucky's Market là một cơ hội mà các nhà đầu tư nên xem xét. Và hiện tại thì đại diện của Lucky's Market cũng đã có rất nhiều cái buổi hội thảo và gặp gỡ các nhà đầu tư tiềm năng để trình bày cũng như là cung cấp thêm nhiều thông tin chi tiết. Rất hy vọng quý vị đã có được một cái nhìn tổng quan hơn về cơ hội này để đầu tư vào chuỗi siêu thị tại Hoa Kỳ. Thank you.